Hey, Chef Billy Parisi here with Bob's Red Mill. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm gonna show you how to make a delicious homemade baguette, and we're gonna be using Bob's Red Mill whole wheat ivory flour. A few things first before we get started baking this bread. Bread takes some time. It's not gonna be ready in 1 hour. It's not gonna be ready in 2 hours. It's a bit of a labor of love, but it's not hard to make, it just takes some time. So please be patient. And secondly, I'm very comfortable with using the gram metric scale when it comes to making bread because of its precision. However, I'm gonna hook you up this time and we're gonna convert it to US measurements. So let's get started into making this bread. I'm gonna be using Bob's Red Mill whole wheat ivory flour. I discovered this by simply looking at their website and couldn't wait to try it. We wanna measure it out until it reaches 35 ounces, which is roughly 6 1/3 cups of flour. Don't use that, please use the volume. This is such a cool flour. When you think of flour and bread, you always think of white flour. Well, this is white flour, but it has the germ still attached, which makes it whole wheat, and it's made from white whole wheat berries. Super cool flour. I know you're gonna love it when you try it. The next thing we wanna do is sprinkle in 1.5 teaspoons of active yeast, followed up by adding in 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Last but not least, we need to weigh out 28 ounces of warm water. I usually say in between 85 and 90 degrees. Go ahead and pour that right into the bowl. And using your hands, it's time to get dirty. Mix all of these ingredients together. I like to squeeze through all of the ingredients to make sure the yeast spreads all throughout the flour to make sure it rises to that perfect height. So squeeze it together, fold it, whatever you have to do to make sure it's completely combined. Go ahead and add some plastic wrap or a towel right to the top. We're gonna let it sit for 1 hour, and then we wanna come back and simply fold the dough. So take the plastic off, stretch it out a little bit, fold it over maybe 10 to 12 times, put the plastic wrap back over, and now you gotta go find something to do for about 4 or 5 hours. Our bread has been resting for about 5 hours. It's doubled in size. It looks and smells amazing. You can see the fermentation and the bubbles really happening in the dough. It's awesome. I love this part of baking. Let's go ahead and transfer it to a clean surface, dusted with some of that ivory flour. We're gonna dust the top a little bit, fold it over a couple of times, and then we wanna split it up into 3 different sections. These are each going to act as our baguette. So using sort of a cupping motion, fold over the dough, stretch it out until it becomes a nice long baguette around 12 to 14 inches. The next thing we want to do is proof the bread, and I'm going to be using a couche, and in French it translates to coucher or to sleep. So in this process it's resting, proofing, going to rise just a little bit more. So dust the couche with flour. We're going to add our loaves about 6 to 8 inches in between. We're going to put creases in between them too so they don't touch each other or stick. Let it proof for 1 hour. While the bread is proofing, this is perfect time to get cranking on that oven. So heat it up to 475 degrees. And to cook on, you can either use a stone or a baguette pan. I'm gonna use the pan, put it in the oven and let it preheat to 475 degrees. Now that the bread is proofed, we need to transfer it to that baguette tray. So using another cutting board, I'm gonna sort of flip it onto the board and then transfer it right to that baguette pan. You can take some slices into the baguette at this point because I'm sure you've seen baguettes with those nice long slices in it. You don't have to either, totally up to you. It goes in the oven for in between 20 and 25 minutes or until it becomes nice and brown and crusty on the outside. Boom, it's finished. Let it rest for 30 minutes until it's time to slice into it. There is nothing, I mean nothing like homemade baked bread. It smells like a French bakery in here. I love it. I want this smell every day of my life. Let's not waste any more time. Let's take a slice and let's try it out. It looks amazing. It's perfect. I mean, look at all of these perfect air pockets. That's what you want every time. Of course, smell it. Ah, it's so good. Let's try some. I mean, it's amazing. Of course it's amazing. It's homemade bread. That's all I've got. Thanks for stopping by. I've got a mouthful of bread, handful of bread. We'll catch up with you next time.